What's going on, nerds? I'm Wes with Neverboard Gaming, back with another Kickstarter preview, this time taking a look at Clandestine from Brookspun Games. So Clandestine is Jason Brooks' second game, his first one being Legacies, which we covered a few years ago. Fantastic game, and he's back with another great hit with Clandestine. So to get all the disclaimers out of the way, this is a prototype that we've been playing with, so everything is subject to change. Not all of the artwork is complete or finalized yet, but this did give us a really good look at how this game plays, what it's like, and why you should back it on Kickstarter. At its core, Clandestine is an asymmetric action selection and resource management game with rondel and Mancala mechanics, as well as a lot of other little stuff sprinkled in there. It's definitely a heavier game. It's not an intro game, but the mechanics themselves and the choices you make, like, there's not that much happening. There's just a lot of choices and a lot of things that are shifting and changing throughout the game, and you have to focus on different strategies as your society progresses. So in this game, each player controls a secret society who is trying to improve their city and ascend to the highest level and be the first one to get there. So on this really unique board that shifts depending on player count, you have really two main areas, and that is each society has their own private area in their color, and then you have the public streets around the middle of the game. So on your turn, you will choose one of the leader pawns, which is a tall one, either one of your colors or one of the neutral ones that are the white ones. You will determine your power based on how many people or pawns are on that space. You will take the action that is on the space they are currently on, and then you will move them in a Mancala style around the board. So here you will take these pawns, and as they are going clockwise, you will drop the smaller pawns or the followers off as you go around, ending with the leader. Now, technically, the move I just made wasn't actually legal because your society leaders, or the leaders in your color, will stay in your secret society in this circle here, and some of the followers will follow them into your society, while some of the followers will continue on their own. It's a really cool mechanic in that the public street is a clockwise rondel, whereas your private society is a counterclockwise rondel. So you kind of think about the waters are swirling around, and then you have these little tide pools that kind of rip off and curl back around before going back along the clockwise track. Now, the main moves you'll make on the public track are Discover and Fundraise. For Discover, you are gaining relics from the relic map over here, and on Fundraise, that is how you make your money. Now, you need money, although it's not really the name of the game, but you use money to pay for things, and you can use your money on your personal board with some worker placement spots to do alchemy, and you can change your money into energy. You can change your energy to upgrade your relics into your society. You can gain new leaders. It's one of those games where, again, it's straightforward on your turn. You just pick one thing to do, and you kind of follow what it does. But figuring out what you want to do, the best way to balance it, when to do things, like the timing of it all, and then also like how the other players are affecting you can really come into play. There are also several other actions in your secret societies, and what we don't need to go into what all of those do, those are how you get your secret cards, which are the action cards that you can play to affect your action or do additional things. And that's where the real asymmetry comes into the game, because every secret society has a kind of different way that they're functioning. You have the purple guys who are trying to kind of sow chaos into the city, and while everyone else chaos hurts them, the purple player can use chaos to their advantage, and they can cast chaos on other societies, kind of that backhanded skullduggery where you're causing chaos and you're making it look like somebody else is doing it. The red player is all about money, so they can actually invest the money they have onto spaces on the board and kind of in a few other places as well. And then when anybody, including themselves, take the action on that space, they'll gain that money back, but the invested money stays, so it can happen again and again and again. So each different player has kind of a different focus, a different ability, different secrets that they're playing with to help them advance their society and improve the city, which is their goal. And then the other main thing that you're doing in your secret society is ascending, because although victory points are how you win this game, the game progresses as your society advances from level 1 to 5, and once the first player reaches level 5, that is when the end game begins. So The basic flow of the game is you are trying to gain resources to upgrade your society to the next level, and that unlocks new secrets, new abilities, new ways to get resources, and just kind of better stuff, not only as your society advances, but also as the board advances, because as your societies grow, you're going to add new followers to the board, and just the board evolves over time because people are investing on it. One of the players can put traps on the board. One of the players can put chaos on the board. So the board is shifting, you're advancing, and you have to get more resources to go up to the next level. But you do get into that cycle of gain resources, upgrade your society, gain more resources, upgrade your society again, and so on until the end game is triggered and you count up victory points. So the other big asymmetry in the game is once you advance to level 2, you will unlock your personal objective for the game, and those are going to be different for every player and different game to game, because at the beginning of the game, you deal out cards equal to the number of players plus 1, and then when you advance to level 2, you can take one of those objectives, and it has several different things you can do on it. It has a pattern that you want to achieve with your relics, because one of the actions on the board lets you tuck the relics under your society, which upgrades those action spots. And also the colors need to match the pattern on your personal objective. But the personal objectives also have other actions you can take. And again, they're all totally different. Some of them have tracks that you're moving up and down on. Some of them just give you resources. It's really fun picking out which objective you want, which new power you get to add. And again, it just adds total variation game to game, because you can be playing with these same color players. You have the same secret deck that's unique to that player, and that'll totally change the way you play the game, because it could be new things you want to do. It could be a new way to add people to the board. It could be a new way to gain relics. So there's just a ton of replayability in this game. And even just the fact that it is denser, so the strategies can change game to game. And you may want to try different things. And each color lends to a different strategy and a different way to really gain the points that you need to win the game in the end. I also really like the way the board is set up, because as you can see, it's very unique, and that you have the streets and the rondelle. We discussed that already, but you actually build the board based on the player count. In a 3-player game, it's going to be a triangle. In a 4-player game, it's going to be a square. The game does play 1 to 5. I haven't actually seen the solo rules yet, but Jason did tell me they are coming, and they will be released during the Kickstarter campaign. And it really is great at every player count we've played it at. I really enjoyed sitting down with each player board in a game and figuring out what that player was good at, what kind of mischief they got onto, what strategies that specific player was designed for, because each of the decks has all the secrets that do evolve throughout the game. As you upgrade your society and you are adding new cards into your secret deck, it shifts from early on in the game when a lot of your cards are just kind of in, like the red player invests, one of the players is putting victory point tokens out of the board, one of the players is seeding chaos. And then as you get to the higher tier of cards, those actions you took early on in the game, you can start shifting those into victory points. And there's an upgrade I got that was like every secret card I spent was going to be points at the end of the game. So all of a sudden, I'm super incentivized just to burn through my deck as quickly as possible. I really do think that Brookspun Games has another slam dunk with Clandestine. There really are just so many different mechanics and so many unique ideas coming together to make a fantastic game. So if you guys are interested in checking it out, there will be a link to the Kickstarter campaign in the description below. I highly recommend you check out the campaign. Go ahead and back this game. There's going to be a deluxe version on the page. There's a couple other tiers with really cool versions of the game, even a tier to get a prototype of the game, which could be a really cool collector's piece. But the main point is, I think this is one to back if all of that sounds good to you. So again, click that link down in the description. Just below that, there will be a link to Game Toppers. Game Toppers is our channel sponsor. They make the tabletop we are playing on, which is just fantastic for playing. It really elevates your gaming experience. They have all these different play mats you can get. Like I've got this red one, and I've got this gray one, and then underneath that, I've got this blue one. They also have all kinds of different upgrades to the table. They've got a dice tower that fits onto the table. They've got cup holders all the way around it. I couldn't be happier with my Game Topper. I have been using it literally 4 years, so it is a worthwhile investment. There will be a link to them. And also, while you're down there clicking on links, make sure you click that subscribe button so you'll never be bored. with Rondell and Mancala mechanics. At its core, Clandestine is an asymmetric. At its core, oh my gosh, why can I not get this? All right, we're ready. This is the one.